Have you ever found yourself scrolling through your Instagram feed, feeling a sharp pang, a mix of envy and that bitter feeling of not being enough? Maybe, while watching other people's lives, you feel trapped in an internal battle where jealousy and feelings of inferiority scream louder than any praise or achievement. Today, we're going to face these inner monsters head-on, without the usual love yourself cliches. Get ready for deep dives, because what you're about to hear is not a common self-help manual, but an invitation to master your own darkness. First of all, we need to understand what really is jealousy and an inferiority complex. We often think that jealousy is just the desire for what someone else has, but it goes much further than that. Jealousy is a reflection of our inability to consider our own worth. It's as if every time you see someone else's perfect life, a small part of you says, "I don't deserve that." This insidious inner voice undermines your self-confidence and makes you believe that happiness and success are reserved only for others. And what about an inferiority complex? It is not simply a lack of confidence. It is an internal war, a constant battle between a person who you really are and the idealized or even unattainable version of who you think you should be. These feelings, these monsters, are forged amid toxic comparisons, traumas that you carry from childhood or even by the tireless reproduction of that voice that insists, "You will never be enough." Imagine two people. One posts a perfect photo on the beach with a breathtaking scenery, and the other, upon seeing this image, feels a deep emptiness. But believe me, this feeling has nothing to do with the beach. It is the echo of a deep-rooted belief that you will never be able to achieve that freedom, that shine, that fulfillment that you see in others. Have you ever tried, at some point, to convince yourself that you really don't care? What are you above? But the mind insists on returning to the same thoughts, repeating patterns that you have learned over the years. Why? Because the brain loves routines. It has been conditioned to follow these paths as if they were tracks already traced on autopilot. If throughout your life you get used to comparing yourself, to putting yourself down, this cycle repeats itself without you having to give the slightest conscious command. In addition, these feelings of jealousy and inferiority, as destructive as they may seem, offer a false sense of control. Think about it. If I criticize myself first, no one will have a chance to hurt me. It is a defense strategy, an invisible armor that in a way protects you. Studies reveal that approximately 70% of people choose self-sabotage rather than face discomfort, the paralyzing fear of trying and possibly failing. It is easier and in some way safer to hate yourself than to expose yourself to the risk of trying something new and imperfect. Our brains, trained to seek safety and repetition, cling to these habits, even though they are undermining our happiness. Every time you self-deprecate, you are, in a way, maintaining control, albeit an illusory one, over a situation you already know well. It is as if you prefer the known poison to the risk of the unknown, paths to taming the darkness. But here is the truth that you need to absorb. The goal is not to completely eliminate jealousy and feelings of inferiority, because they are part of you. The goal is to tame them, to transform them into allies in your journey of personal growth. And to do this, there are concrete steps that can help you face this darkness. Accept the shadow, stop running away. In a mirror, face your reflection and declare out loud, "Yes, I feel jealous. Yes, I feel inferior." By acknowledging these feelings, you take away from them a power that grows in silence and denial. It is in the openness that transformation begins. What is this protecting? Every emotion we feel has a function, even jealousy, which often masks deep-seated fears. Stop and ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to protect? It may be hiding a fear of abandonment, an insecurity about not being loved, or even pain from a past that still haunts you. Investigate this emotion with curiosity, as if you were unraveling a mystery. Ask yourself, what wound that you may not even know exists is this jealousy trying to hide? This internal investigation is a crucial step in transforming pain into learning. By understanding the root of your jealousy, you are prepared to disarm the fears that fuel it. Create an invincible alter ego. Dark twist. Imagine for a moment a version of yourself who feels no fear, who does not flinch in the face of challenges, an invincible alter ego. Think of it as the protagonist of a role-playing game where you take full control of your own narrative. Ask yourself, how would this version of me act if I were not afraid of being inferior? Allow yourself to experience this person in moments of insecurity, as if you were wearing armor that protects you from the blows of self-criticism. This technique may seem strange at first glance, but it is a powerful way to reprogram your instincts, showing that you can be as strong as you imagine. Every time insecurity strikes, invoke this alter ego. Let it guide your actions, transforming each challenge into an opportunity to reaffirm your personal power. Turn envy into fuel when envy strikes, that feeling that makes your heart race when you see other people's lives. Stop for a moment and write down, what does this person have that I want for myself? Instead of giving in to self-punishment, use this information as a goal, a fuel for your evolution. Transform envy into a map of what you want to achieve. Remember, it's not about copying someone else's life, but about using the image of what inspires you as a springboard to seek your own success. Every desire, every trait you envy can be converted into a concrete goal. Use it to redefine your own settings and take firm steps towards who you really want to be. Real case, a journey of pain and overcoming. Let me tell you the story of a follower who, for a long time, carried a heavy burden. She constantly found herself compared to her brother, whose courage to follow his dreams made her feel increasingly inferior. This feeling, so corrosive, turned into hatred, a hatred directed not so much at her brother, but at the part of herself that refused to take risks. On a day that seemed like any other, she had an insight. What she felt was not just envy of her brother's success, but the recognition that he had the courage that she herself had repressed. It was then that she decided to act unexpectedly. Whenever she saw her brother embarking on a new adventure, a trip, an inspired publication, she began to chart her own path. If he explored the world, she would set off on a solitary journey, rediscovering the value of her own company. If he shared his achievements, she wrote anonymous reflections, as if she were talking to herself and remembering her forgotten dreams. Today, she still feels that occasional jealousy, because let's be honest, the shadow never completely disappears. But now, this feeling has become a powerful reminder, a sign that there is always a challenge waiting to be overcome, a new goal to be achieved. This story shows us that jealousy and inferiority are not monsters to be exterminated, but rather teachers that point out areas where we need to grow. They challenge us to be better, to reinvent ourselves, and to fight against stagnation. To recap, today you learned that jealousy goes far beyond the simple desire for what others have. It is a silent cry that you have not yet highlighted your own value. An inferiority complex is not merely a lack of confidence, but an internal battle that can be fought and transformed. And, although it may seem like negative thoughts repeat themselves like a broken record, there is a way to tame them. By accepting your shadow, by questioning what it is protecting, by creating an alter ego that embodies your strength, and finally, by transforming envy into fuel for your growth, you begin to reframe your own story. Each step, no matter how small, is an advance towards inner freedom. So if this journey resonated with you, if you have ever woken up in those early mornings when comparison paralyzed you, leave your comment. I am the wolf. Because remember, no one has the right to control the inner jungle that is your mind and your heart. Love your journey, even with all its scars and shadows. Transformation is not about erasing pain, but about transforming it into power. Sign up, follow our upcoming meetings, and above all, never stop seeking the best version of yourself. After all within you resides an untamable wolf, ready to conquer the impossible. Thank you for diving with us on this journey of self-knowledge and transformation. Remember, the path may be dark, but it is precisely in the darkness that the stars shine brightest. Until next time.